Here is the astrological tea on Donald Trump from the Eastern perspective. I can't make this up, and astrology just shows us the truth about people beyond what they say, beyond what they do, or even helping us understand what's, the energy behind their actions. And I learned a little something looking at Donald Trump's chart. It's very interesting. So I want to feast your eyes on these circles up here. And as you can see here, these are the quadrants where the planets and the points land. So this 7 is showing us that a lot of his energy, majority of his energy is in this upper quadrant, which is the 10th, 11th, and the 12th house. What does that mean? That quadrant represents our push into society, when there are people that are like meant to be famous, meant to be seen, meant to integrate with society. We see a lot of energy there. And so we can see for Trump, he was meant to be known. He was meant to integrate with society. Okay. And when we look in this right quadrant up here, so this is the 7th, 8th, and ninth house, we can see that there's only one point here. What does that house represent? It actually represents the awareness of others, okay? So this awareness of others, he doesn't have an awareness of others. And when we look at what's actually the one point in this spot of his awareness of other people, it's the midheaven. It's the career. So he sees other people as a career opportunity to advance himself. That's the only thought he has when it comes to others. The empathy is not there. There's nothing there. Okay? The empathy is not there. The awareness is not there. And the only level of awareness that he has in terms of other people is seeing them as a stepping stone in his career. It's doubled down, but because the midheaven is in Aries, about the self. Okay, my career, my advancement of myself is through other people, not me helping other people. It is, I am finding a way to help myself through other people. I can't make this up. Another interesting point, if we look over here at this polarity balance down here, we can see that Donald Trump has a lot of feminine energy. He feels a lot of things on the inside. Over double, it's a imbalance there of lots of feelings and lots of energy on the inside that he's feeling. We can see he's a Leo rising, and we have Mars also in the first house. So he is a fiery guy. He has the passion and the desire to be seen, to be known. But there are some trinkles of emotional darkness here. Now let's take a look. So when we look at the moon, we see the moon is in a 13th sign, the sign called Ophiuchus, which is really a darker version of Scorpio. And it's really where this deep, dark, painful growth comes from. And we see his moon is there conjunct right beside Ketu, or the South Node, which represents the karmic path. We can see that there's a relationship, a toxic almost relationship with his emotions. And a relationship that's deep and dark with his mom. And we can actually validate that by looking at where Cancer is. Where is the sign of Cancer? And that's going to show us what his family vibe is like. Now, we see Cancer in the 12th house. That is showing us that the connection with his family is distant. He is disconnected. And when I did some digging about his relationship specifically with his mom almost died when he was a kid. When she had his brother, she had all these complications, so she had a bunch of surgeries, and she was in the hospital a lot when Donald was a young toddler. So we see Venus in Cancer of how he wanted to be loved, how he needed to be loved, is in this distant part of himself. We see Saturn there as well, saying that there's some kind of tension, there's some kind of distance when it comes to how he was supposed to be cared for by his family. We can see that he was a little neglected, okay? And having the moon there in that deep dark Ophiuchus, we can see that, it's double marked that there was this neglect. There's this energy of sadness, this energy of pain when it comes to his relationship with his mom. There's some hurt in there. And so it makes sense as to why he wants to be seen. He wants to be loved. Donald is looking for love from society. And this guy is a really emotional guy. And to see how much hatred he gets, right? How much slack he gets, how much he gets made fun of, and statues are made of him, and pictures are made of him, it really hurts his feelings. Because he's an emotional guy. He's not a guy that's just letting things roll off. If anything, he actually feels things in a very, very deep way. And we can see more darkness within the family when we see Lilith is here in the fourth house representing his foundation, his family, his home. Is also a place of fear, a place of instability, a deep darkness there, in the sense of not having a grounded, empathetic foundation. He didn't have that, you know? And so if you combine not having that emotional support and that empathy and that love from your mom in your most important years, and then also not having any awareness of other people other than seeing them as a career opportunity, you create somebody like Donald Trump, you know? It's very interesting. And I didn't make this up. We can see there's an opposition between his sun and his moon. Who he wants to be, you know, in society is opposite the energy of who he really is inside and who he really feels he is inside. There is a deep, dark need to be loved, to be supported, to be cared for, and probably to really make up the energy that he missed when he was a child. And he wants that from society, but there's an opposition there, right? Because how boastful he is, and because of this Mars energy that he has in the first. Mars is going to push and have the drive, right? The drive is about himself and being seen. He needs that energy to be seen. That energy is opposite this deep, dark feelings that he has, you know, and we know that he's feeling a lot of things. So it almost makes you feel a little sorry for him in the sense of like how much shade this guy gets, and knowing that he's actually a really, really emotional person. He's feeling so much, and he's looking from society to find love. He's looking for the people to love him, to resolve the wounds that he has related to his mom and the relationship with his mom. And so that's very interesting. Just a little bit of insight on Donald Trump.